I am on a Sunday afternoon. How is everybody doing? Welcome to my live. Uh, yes, can you guys guess what store I'm in? Um, I'm in Washington State again, right here. Just checking out everything. And believe it or not, a lot of electronics are more updated compared to, compared to the States. No, compared to Canada. Yeah, so it's always nice to come and take a look. Since I won't be in Hong Kong for a while, so it's nice to update all the tech and everything. Unfortunately, DJI, I think the American government are like banning them or something like that, so the shelves are pretty empty now. I think the products are limited, which is pretty sad. So I hope everybody's well and good. So I don't know even can I read your messages or anything. So I hope I can. But anyway, today, okay, hey, Chad, how are you doing? Today, I did my live a little bit earlier. It's great. I can see your message, so everything should be good. Yeah. So electronics, especially the laptops, computer, graphic cards are a lot cheaper here in the States. And now all the Bitcoin, Dogecoin has you know, drop so much in value. Hi Jess, how are you doing? Welcome to my live on at Best Buy. You guys are pretty familiar with Best Buy, but it's quite different, when you walk to a Best Buy uh, in the States and Canada. Uh, as the population, as I always mention, is a lot bigger, the population, so you would get a lot more variety, and the prices sometimes are pretty good. But the main thing, not the prices, is the products. For example, like all these laptops, the models are much more new, more updated. Because if you say item like in the States for sale, it would be like maybe 9 months old or something. Yeah, I'm at the U.S. Best Buy. Yeah, because in Canada, if I go to the Best Buy, you see a computer on sale. It's probably 2 or 3 years old, so that's not a really good deal, right? That's why my son wanted to get a gaming computer, and he decided to come get one here, so it's a more updated version. In Hong Kong, of course, it will be really updated because competition is really fierce. Yeah, so I just want to say hi to you guys. You guys are awesome. I just want to keep this live consistent every Sunday afternoon. And thank you very much for coming and joining me on board. Let's talk about my friends. I was pretty upset, kind of disappointed in a way, because this friend of mine is Chinese. Okay, the wife was born in Hong Kong, pretty like Hong Kong girl, and the husband is Canadian-born Chinese. But both of them can, like the wife, of course, can speak very good Cantonese, but the husband is Chinese is, it's okay. You can understand pretty good, but the deal is, oh, we're in Canada, North America, so they always speak in English, which is good, right? I don't mind, but or does anybody mind? But like when the friends come over, like I went to their house last week, the kids couldn't speak any Cantonese at all, and knowing their parents is Chinese and they can speak it perfectly, like we have conversations in Cantonese, and that's really sad. Hey Jess. Yeah, it's just a lot longer. Like if you want to get a car stereo nowadays, like for your older type cars, in Canada, there's not even. I don't even think this is so small, so significant in Canada. But here they still have a lot of choices and everything like that, which is awesome. Uh, it's I think it's the way it is. The population, you know, the whole BC. It's pretty big. The whole BC equals the whole West Coast, and the whole BC doesn't even have enough, not as much population as in Hong Kong. And Hong Kong is just like a dot on the map. Yeah. So so I had I felt like, oh gee, these kids can't speak any Cantonese, and they can speak really, really bad. Count one, two, three, four, but it's not acceptable. So I just sat down with the parents. I'm not being, really, really strict or anything. I just wanted them to know, you gotta know your heritage. You gotta know where you originally came from. Like you're a Chinese. Doesn't matter you live here, born here, whatever. That's your heritage, right? You gotta know about the culture and everything, and you gotta speak the language, right? Especially in the household. So I told the parents, you for the sake and the future of your kids, you gotta speak Chinese at home, because don't worry, they won't. They have plenty of chances to learn English, right? But when they're out the door, they all can speak English all they want in school and all their friends, right? But they, they they need this Cantonese practicing. And they told me, oh, because of the COVID, all these Sunday schools are closed and all that. But there's no excuses, because you're at home all the time with the kids, and you got to speak the language with them, right? Which I think it's quite unacceptable. Even for me, when I was a kid in the States, um, I didn't know much Chinese and at all. I didn't speak Mandarin. I didn't know Cantonese, and I couldn't really can't even write Chinese really well. And so when I was in college in Oklahoma, I decided to take a course into Mandarin and Chinese. So I trying to catch up as much as possible. My Chinese written skills are pretty bad still, which I regret, because you kind of missed out a lot especially when you're in Hong Kong or the mainland China. But just in case you didn't know, mainland China, the characters are different to the ones in Hong Kong. Mainland Chinese characters are simplified, so it's really simplified strokes, few strokes. But in Hong Kong, it's traditional, so there's a lot of strokes. So for my wife, she's brought up basically in Hong Kong. She can read the traditional, but when she goes to mainland China or reads the simplified Chinese, she has a hard time understanding the characters. Uh, just wanted you to know. And for my household, when I got married and have kids, um, it's pretty natural that I speak English to them. So even now, to this day, they're all grown up, kind of grown up. They speak, English to me all the time. 100% they speak English to me. But for mom, 100% they speak Chinese to her. So it's like dad speaks English and the mom speaks Chinese to them. So when they go out and whoever they meet, they can understand either Chinese or English. So I think that's kind of a win-win situation, right? So for me, I think it worked out, pretty good. So now they can speak Chinese like locals in Hong Kong, and there's no weird accent or anything like that. Or you don't know, oh gee, were you born in the States? You just learn Chinese and blah blah blah. So when they speak Cantonese or some Mandarin, you can't really detect they are, like they didn't know the language. So that's one of the things that it just kind of got me pretty upset about. So, thank God my kids now they can speak Chinese, Mandarin, and English. And in Canada, they don't speak Spanish. The other language is French. But I think it's too late for them to learn French. Um, but my daughter tried to learn some Spanish. But I think since she's a kid, teenager, they quit easily, right? But I think in the future she will learn Spanish. Spanish is pretty popular, especially in the United States. You can get around with Spanish. Like, the first thing you see is English. The second language is Spanish, right? And not just the language I'm talking about in my family. Like, my wife, she likes to eat the traditional foods, Chinese food, like the chicken feet or the pig trotter, the pig feet, or they like to eat, is that the frogs, toads and stuff like that, and the really fresh chicken. But in Chinese chicken, they like the fresh one, so there isn't too much meat on it. but it's all bone, so they just chop, it's all bone, so they just know how to put all the meat in the mouth and spit out the bones. So that's the really Chinese way of eating, and it's not rude to spit out the bones on the plate. So they have that way, that side of the culture. And for my culture, like not my culture, but where I was brought up, I just like to eat a steak and uh, eat pizza. A good Western meal is perfect for me. Um, it just feels good. The first thing every time I go to the States, I get myself a burger. I like to go to big, big red. No, it's like called Big Red Robin's. Red Robin's. Yeah, Red Robin's Burger Joint, gourmet burgers. And when I'm in the States, the chocolate place I really miss is this. I'll show you guys. It's See's Candies. Because when I was in LA, we always see the factory where we lived. So we passed the factory, the See's Candies. So it's always nice to buy See's Candies when I'm in the States. No See's Candies in Canada, unfortunately. Um, and did you know a fact that if you go to See's Candy, uh, they always give you a sample. Even like my daughter, when she was here last week, uh, she she took about 10 samples, and they said, "I hope you don't get a stomach ache." um, it's so close. Like if I go back now to Richmond, okay, it'll take me less than an hour and a half. So I'm meeting my friends dinner at Richmond, Vancouver, BC. So it's basically just across the border, another 30-minute drive, and you're there. So it's always good. And the Canadians come down, buy the groceries, it's cheaper, and especially nowadays gas. So gas is always 30% cheaper in the States when you get it. And it's good to go to Costco because I'm a, what do you call it, exclusive member, or you get this Citibank credit card on Costco, and you get cash back for filling up your gas. But it's crazy. Here it's like already over $5 a gallon, and diesel is like $6 something. And for me personally, I think it's a scam because in Hong Kong we buy the wholesale diesel. There's no tax on diesel in Hong Kong, and they call it for commercial cars only. So I can get tax-free diesels pretty cheap, and even nowadays it's pretty crazy. You would you would spend probably $3.20 US for a gallon of diesel right now. During these high prices, so it's pretty cheap getting diesel in Hong Kong. But for the gas, it's about like now I think, oh gee, it's up like $10 a gallon. How would you feel like getting $10, paying $10 for a gallon in Hong Kong? It's crazy. They want people to do public transport. I think in Vancouver, what I feel like is the prices are so high for gas and all that, and they just want you guys just to quit driving and just take the public transport. And the government just came out with the news like last week saying, "Oh, we should. Why isn't the people taking? Why isn't the Vancouverites taking more public transportation?" The first thing when they said that thing, I already knew it's part of a scheme that they want people to quit driving to work and all that. But I think in the States they say, screw this. I'm driving my car. Doesn't matter what it is. But for families that are struggling, it's either putting gas in the gas tank or buying groceries for the family. And that's pretty sad. So I hope you guys are having a great Sunday, relaxing. I'm enjoying myself. And did you guys see my short video? I like this. I hardly come down on Saturdays. I usually come down on a Friday. But I came down. I had a friends. We had dinner on Friday, so I came on Saturday. But Saturday night, the rooms, like the regular hotels I was staying in, the Fairfield Marriotts, usually it's just like $220, $250 max. It went up to $460, $480, and some is like $530 with tax and all. and that's crazy. So I decided to go to a motel, like a two-star motel, but I still paid $160 for this two-star hotel, and the room was really smelly. So when I went in that room, I just went to the Dollar Tree and got some air freshener right away. I mean, it really smelled bad. But the room was clean, the bed was soft enough, shower, the hot water was occasionally hot and occasionally cold. But what do you expect? I think these regularly it's just like a $70 per night motel. But since everybody's going up on Saturday, they went $160. I don't know about that, guys. Um, my dream is always wanting to get an RV. But it's just crazy the prices. I actually, if you guys are following me, I put a deposit on the RV before. Um, it's for like 250 grand. It's crazy expensive, and everybody was saying, don't get this RV. It's crazy. When you get it, it's like half off. Nobody wants a used RV and stuff like that, and which makes sense. And at the time, when my RV came in, the dealer said, we'll be happy that you don't want it. We'll give you a full refund. There's no problem whatsoever. We even give you a better deal if you get one in later on, the year, because it was right in the middle of COVID. My RV came in. Um, so now, I've been looking at it. I think it makes a lot more sense if I really want an RV just to get a used one, maybe like 20, 30,000 miles on it, maybe a year 2020 or something like that. And the prices are almost half now. And even, the good thing about getting an older one, it doesn't really matter because the lithium ion batteries are getting cheaper and cheaper, and they're coming out with one all-in-one systems. So what you do is just put the module, the battery, and the controller, inverter. Everything is built in, so it's really convenient, and you can hook up to solar power. And because back 3-4 years ago, these lithium ion uh, uh, RVs were really outrageously expensive, but the competition, especially the time on lithium iron, the technology has gotten a lot better. So I can get a cheaper RV now, and just upgrade the lithium battery system on it. And why it used to cost a lot more is because the the RV you can turn on the AC for 8 hours. So my friends on the East Coast or central US, it gets pretty hot, right? Over 100, and you can use the solar panels, and you can still use the lithium batteries, and you can run the AC for 8 hours. So that's pretty unheard of for the industry. So this is something I really like because I got one of the rooftop tents, and I drove to California, like in the desert. And let me tell you guys, you gotta wake up like 8 o'clock already because it's already smoking hot inside that tent, and you have to go out. Yeah, so this is one of the good things. And the RV I really wanted to get is a Class B. So it's a Class B. It's considered a van. So it's a Sprinter 4x4 van, and you can basically park anywhere, and you don't need. It doesn't really classify as an RV, so you can use it. Um, Put it in the parking lot, have lunch in it, do whatever you want. So that's one of the good things about Class B. Not even a Class B plus, it's just Class B. So these are the RVs I really like, and you can use it as a daily. And there's one RV I was just looking on the traders that there's a Winnebago, and you can put 7 people in it, which is good. 7 people, and people say you can even use it as a daily, use it like a van because it's small enough. So I hope you guys are well. So wherever your heritage, my friends might be from Italy, might be from France or Europe, or some from Eastern Europe. And I think one of the important thing is to know your heritage, especially learn the language. um, and it's really important. Like in mainland China, people come here and the kids they must learn how to speak Chinese and write as much as possible, because you never know what happens. You know, you can always go back, can get a job and opportunities. Honestly, you know, I've been through a lot. You know, and you know, I'm not young. I've been through a lot, and let me tell you, the business opportunities are always better in Hong Kong for me, because you know that's why my network of friends and everything, and we can sit down, have dinner, and always have brainstorming some ideas and come out with some ideas and do a business, you know. And now it's the chance of doing a business is better and better because of the economy. You know, when the economy is like raising interest, inflation is crazy, and the best is to hold on to cash. And there's a lot of things you can, you know, buy, acquire, and you know, you can take advantage of that, because um, you know, the youngsters that bought a home in Hong Kong like 3 years ago, 4 years, um, they can't afford to pay the mortgage anymore because of the interest rate is going so high. And you can see now more and more bank, you know, bank, what do you call those? The bank takes over the property and they sell it. So there's a lot of these things going on. Foreclosures, is it called? Yeah, foreclosures. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons I'm selling my house in Hong Kong, and so I can think about investing in something new. And good thing again, I think in Hong Kong it's the best way to invest or do business, because taxes are very low, no capital gains in Hong Kong, which is good, and a flat rate. I think 16% for business tax, so you can write off like expenses and all that. So you pay a little bit of tax, and unlike the states, you don't go to jail for tax evasion. In the states, you can get in a lot of trouble when you evade your tax. And think about Al Capone, right? Yeah, he's the one the IRS caught him. So anyway, guys, here I am in Washington State. So I think about 45 minutes drive, short drive. I'll be across the border already, back to Canada land, and uh, and I can come back anytime here. And I think the customs, you know, officers, every time I come to U.S., they always ask me why don't I come back to the States to live here? You know, they have a record. So every time they say, why don't you just move back here, get an apartment, buy a house or something? You just move to Washington State. It's always closer, you know, to Vancouver, BC. Yeah, but I think it's not the time for me to stay in the States as now, because you know, still have a lot of friends that are doing business, and I still need to be more financially stable. I think that's a good thing, to good word to put out, instead of giving all my hard-earned money, you know, to Uncle Sam, right? So anyway, if you haven't liked my video or live, please give me a like. If you haven't subscribed, I appreciate if you can subscribe, and always leave me a comment or tell me what's going on, or have any questions about anything. And it's very nice to talk to you guys. And I'm not stationary today, but just wanted to keep in touch with you guys, because you guys are awesome. You guys, you know, you guys are like family to me. So I'm going to end this live, and thank you very much for joining me today. Bye bye, guys. Take care.